So it's been about a week since the BMX racing went down at the Olympics, Paris Olympics 2024, and there was some crazy racing going on, some monumental moments, some awesome action in the men's and women's division. And the big question right now is which bikes were used to get to the podium? Like, which bikes did these men and women that raced at this event, what brand bikes were they riding to get the gold, silver, and bronze? And we're going to talk about that right now. If you're not an everyday BMX racer, you're probably wondering what type of bikes were the medalists riding? The top 3 riders in the men and women competitions, which bikes were they riding? And I'm going to start with the women medalists, starting with Zoe Classin. She got the bronze, representing Switzerland, doing her thing on the wheelless Atom X carbon BMX bike. This is the best picture I could find online of this bike. She's got a two-tone colorway on her bike with the black in the front, which blends into a burgundy kind of color, going from the middle of the bike all the way to the rear. Mostly all the other parts are black, but she does have some polished cranks on there and a polished chain ring to kind of go with the silver wheelless branding on the down tube. Other things that I noticed in this photo is she probably has carbon rims on that bike, definitely has disc brakes, and that's pretty much it. She got a side plate, but if you go to Zoe's Instagram page, you will see her riding the bike around a little bit. They got a couple of photos and video of her bike before she took it to the Olympics, so you can get a better idea of how her bike looks. But real quick, let's go to the Wheelwiss website to see a little more information about this bike ride. Yeah, it has a detachable dropout where you can fit different axle sizes on your different adapters. So you have the 10 millimeter, the 15 millimeter, and 20 millimeter adapters that you can swap out and replace depending on what size axle you have on your bike, which is pretty dope. I like these little high-tech specs on the bikes. I'm not sure which size wheelwiss Atom X frame that Zoe Classin races with, but I'm going to go off the Pro XXL for the specs, starting with the head tube angle, which is at 74 degrees. The C-tube angle is 72 degrees. Top tube length is 21.5, but it's actually 21.47, but I'm pretty sure they rounded it out to 21.5. Bottom bracket height is 11.1 inches. C-tube length is 10.2 inches, and the chainstay length is 15.2. The Atom X also comes in expert size, Expert XL, Pro XL, and of course the Pro XXL. That's it, homie. That's all we got to say about that bike there. Now, let's go to the next bike. The next bike is ridden by Madden Vistra out of the Netherlands. She's got a Prophecy Scud Evo 3. She got the silver medal. This is the silver medal bike for 2024. I'm loving the way this bike looks with the white and the blue and the gray. It's got the nice little patterns on the chainstay and seat stay and also on the fork to match. The inner part of the fork is in blue. She also has the orange hub and the orange valve cap to represent the rest of the Netherlands colors right there. So that was pretty dope. She's also rocking some polished Shimano DXR cranks. The polish goes with that little gray colorway they got going on with the graphics. I always love the big Prophecy branding on the down tube. I think that looks fresh. There is a notable thing on Madden's bike that's different from a lot of the other racers there, is that she is rocking V brakes. She's representing V brake posse. Okay, so anybody with V brakes, you already know what it is. So according to the Prophecy website, it says the Scud Evo 3 has uncompromising efficiency with maximum power transfer. The one and only fast machine that will remain forever in the history of BMX as the first carbon BMX frame to win a gold medal at the Olympic Games in Tokyo 2020. It was developed with the help of David Graff, who's also an Olympian and a bronze medalist at the 2021 Elite World Championships. The frame is available in Expert XL, Pro XL, Pro XXL, Pro Triple XL, and it's also available as a 24-inch cruiser. The frame also features a press fit BB86 bottom bracket. Head tube is tapered 1 1/8 on top to 1.5 on the bottom. The frame kit includes an integrated saddle clamp system, plastic guides for internal cable routing, and it also comes with a headset, which is pretty cool. The frame has a chain tensioning system for V brakes or disc brakes. The head tube angle is 74 degrees. The frame also features a wider total rear wheelbase for greater stability. The Pro frames weigh 3 pounds 46 ounces to 3 pounds 49 ounces. The Expert frame weighs 2 pounds 38 ounces, and the Cruiser frame weighs 3 pounds 49 ounces. And that leaves us with the number one bike, the bike that got the gold medal in the women's BMX class, Saya Sakakibara's Speedco Vlocks carbon bike. Crazy. It's got the beautiful Australian colorway on there, represented on the frame, fork, and the rims. Saya's bike looks amazing. I love the colorways on this bike and how it's all blended in there with the black and the yellow and the green. I think that looks real dope. And do you see her chain ring? That joint is massive. I don't know how many teeth she got on there, but it's definitely more than 44. Not even 45. I think this one is in the 50s. That thing is huge. But Saya was killing it the whole competition, leaving all the other women behind. She was getting first place in every single qualifying moto. She was jumping over the triples, no problem. She made it look easy and a well-deserved first place. So big shout out to Saya Sakakibara for that. But let's get into this Speedco Vlocks frame and find out what it's all about. So the Speedco Vlocks frame is made out of Toray T700 carbon. It's got a tapered head tube, internal cable routing, a BB86 bottom bracket shell. The down tube on the frame tapers to 72 millimeters. It's got an asymmetrical chainstay. Of course, it's disc compatible, and the dropout can fit a 10, 15, or 20 millimeter axle, and the frame weighs at 2.6 pounds. You can get the frame in Pro, Pro XL, Pro Double XL, Pro Triple XL, Pro 24, and Pro XL 24 sizes. Let's just go off the Pro Double XL because I don't know what size frame that Saya Sakakibara rides. And on that frame, the top tube is 21.75 inches. Bottom bracket height is 11.5 inches. The chainstay length is 15.2. C-tube angle 72 degrees, and the head tube angle is 74 degrees. So now let's move on to the men's bike, starting with the bronze medalist Roman Mayhew, who has a Speedco as well. Speedco Vlocks carbon with the white, the blue, and the red. Avian cranks on there. He's got avian carbon rims on there. Front load stem, flat iron bars, seat and seat post combo. He's got the quick release seat post clamp, disc brakes, of course, and he also has a huge chain ring on his bike. So him and Saya Sakakibara, they are a couple, so their bikes are set up pretty similar. They both ride a Speedco and they both have a really huge front chain ring. And it seems to be working for them because they both got medals at the Olympics with this setup. So that's pretty crazy. Since I already told you the breakdown of the Speedco Vlocks frame, I'm going to go with one of the other frame sizes. So let's go with the Triple XL this time. And the Triple XL has a 22-inch top tube. Bottom bracket height 11.5, chainstay length is a 15.2, C-tube angle 72, head tube angle 74. But since this frame is longer, it weighs a little bit heavier than the Double XL. This frame is 2.8 pounds and the Double XL was 2.7 pounds. So the only real difference between the frames is the top tube length and the weight. Everything else is pretty much the same. Next up, we got Sylvain Andre, who got a silver medal aboard a Commensal P038. You may or may not know that Commensal is a mountain bike manufacturer. They make all kind of mountain bikes, dirt jumpers, all that good stuff. And this is their first foray into a BMX race frame. So what happened was they sponsored Sylvain Andre and they had to make a bike for him. So they got a bike together for him. And you were talking about the last 2 years, they put this project together with the hope of getting their BMX frame in the Olympics and winning a medal. And they actually accomplished that, which is crazy. But now is the time, Commensal, to put this frame in production, because they don't have this frame in production. You can't find it on the website. It's kind of like a side project, I guess, but it's a very successful side project, and I'm pretty sure people are wondering where they can get this frame at. But currently, as of this taping, this bike is not available. The frame's not available, and it really needs to be available. I think it's a really dope bike. I'm loving the colorway on this one in particular, Sylvain Andre's bike. I like the bold simplicity of the Commensal branding on the down tube. Of course, you can't go wrong with that teal aqua colorway mixed with all black. Sylvain also has the polished Behringer cranks on there, and he also has a huge chain ring on that bike. So he has a crazy gear ratio, and he's got a silver medal. So that's 3 bikes so far that have huge chain rings that medaled at the Olympics. So definitely might want to find out what that gear ratio is and how it may work for you. It might improve your results on the track if you're somebody who races. So about a year ago, Commensal made the announcement about the prototype version of the P038 BMX racing frame that they built up for Laura Smulders and Sylvain Andre. I did an article about it on SugarCayne.com. Commensal said that their P038 frame is a true pro level platform The frame is designed to perform at the World Cup level. A two-pieced forged bottom bracket is machined and welded together. It has a 74-degree head tube. It has internal cable routing. It has that integrated flip chip dropout design, which gives you 8 millimeters of adjustment. They started the project in 2022 when they signed Silva and Andre with one goal in mind, and that was to create their version of a BMX race bike. They signed Laura Smulders in 2023 to further help design and test their race bike. The prototype frame was debuted at the World Cup at Pepindal in 2023, and like I said earlier, the cherry on the cake for them would be to get the BMX project to be on a podium at the Paris Olympics. And the bike that came home with the gold is Joris Dardet's Chase Act 1.2. That's right, the Act 1.2 is Chase's top of the line BMX racing frame. It's a carbon frame, of course, and I'm loving all the intricate details on Joris's bike. He's representing France, so he's got the red, white, and the blue in there. He has all different types of little decals on the bike to make it really interesting to look at. And the crazy thing about Joris's bike is that 99% of the parts on his bike is all underneath the BMX Racing Group umbrella. Even though the Shimano DXR cranks and the Tioga Power Block tires are not part of the BMX Race Group umbrella, you can also get those parts from the BMX Racing Group page. So you can basically go to BRG store and just buy all the same exact parts that Joris has on his bike, and that bike can take you potentially to the podium. I don't know about the Olympic podium, but it can take you to the podium. But of course, you know, the bike is only half of the ingredient. The other ingredient is you. You have to train, you have to ride, you have to get your skills up to get yourself to the podium. It doesn't matter how good the bike is or how expensive the bike is or what materials was used on the bike. If you're not conditioned and trained and ready to make it happen, it'll never happen. But the bike definitely plays a part in your success. Here's the interesting part. You can see that his chain ring isn't that big. It looks like he has like a standard gear ratio on his bike, like a 44/16 or a 45/16 on his bike, because it definitely is not as huge as the other bikes that we saw. So real quick, let's go into the frame features. The Chase Act 1.2 has an integrated tapered head tube, 1 1/8 on top, 1.5 on the bottom. It has an integrated brake system where you can either do disc brake or you can do V brakes, or you can take the actual V brake mounts off, and it has like a little cover to make it all look nice and seamless. It has an optimized aerodynamic seat post and seat post clamp. It's got the press fit integrated BB86 bottom bracket, and it has an extra length reinforced stainless steel 20mm dropout with built-in alloy chain tensioners. Also includes a 10mm 3/8 axle adapter. The frame is available in the Pro, Pro Plus, Pro XL, Pro XL Plus, Pro Double XL, and Pro Double XL Plus. And if we go with the Pro Double XL, the top tube is 21.5. Chainstays are 14.5. It has the shortest chainstay out of all the bikes that we mentioned so far. I love that this bike has a 14.5 chainstay length, but you can probably stretch it out to be in the 15s, or you can actually pull it in if you want to as well. The head tube angle is 74 degrees. Seat tube angle is 72.5 degrees. The seat tube length is 9.3. Bottom bracket height is 11.5. And the frame weighs 2 pounds 99 ounces. So those are the BMX racing bikes that won medals at the 2024 Paris Olympics. But there were other bikes that made it to the finals, and I'm going to talk about those bikes right now. These are the rest of the bikes that made it into the finals, and we're going to start with Laura Smulders from the Netherlands. She came in 4th place aboard a Commensal P038 frame, so that makes 2 Commensal frames that made it into the finals at the Olympics. That's crazy. They started in 2022, and now in 2024, the 2 bikes that they actually made for the only 2 riders that they sponsor made it into the Olympics. That's big. That's a big move. Commensal, come on, man, start making them frames for the rest of us. All right, 5th place went to Molly Simpson from Canada, representing on the Daylight Arc C1. She has a crazy story about her journey to the Olympics. There's a video about that. I'm gonna post it on the website soon, so definitely check back for that. But yeah, Molly Simpson representing on the Daylight Arc C1. The Daylight Arc C1 actually made its debut at the 2016 Olympics. Corbin Sherrod was representing on it back then, and now here we are, 2024 Olympics. Molly Simpson from Canada, representing on the Daylight Arc C1. She got 5th place. She made it to the finals, so big shout out to Molly Simpson. And Daylight Bicycles, 6th place went to Elise the Beast Willoughby, representing the United States. She was also on a Daylight Arc C1. I'm loving that gray colorway she's got on there. She was looking amazing during the qualifying round. She was getting 1st place, looking real strong out there. But you know how BMX racing is. Things can flip within a second, and she got caught up in the mix during the race and wound up making it to the 6th place position. So shout out to Elise Willoughby, 33 years old, representing, making it to the mains at the Olympics. That is big regardless. 7th place went to Exceli Etienne from France, representing on Amiibo HSX, looking real nice. I'm loving the black and that pink purplish colorway she's got on her bike. She was having a rough time at the Olympics, man, a rough time. You can see the power and you can see the speed from the French rider, but she kept getting caught in the mix in that second straight, just getting a little bit too far over to the left and winding up in the bad spot, wound up crashing a couple of times, but she made it into the mains and did her thing. Big shout out to her and big shout out to Meebo for making it into the finals. And 8th place went to Bethany Shever out of Great Britain. She was representing on the Prophecy Scud Evo 3. She was the gold medalist at the 2020 games and she was looking amazing. Once again, another rider that was looking incredible during the qualifying motos, winning every round by 1,000 miles. She was looking crazy, sharp and fast out there. And then when the mains happened, I don't know if she hit the gate or whatever, but she was in, I think, gate 5. Didn't have the greatest start, wound up getting pinched out, and then by the time she tried to make up for it, it was too late, and then she wound up getting 8th place. But she made it to the finals, so both Olympics that she attended, she made the finals, so that is a good thing. And maybe next go around, we'll see her at the top of the podium once again. I really thought that in the finals, it was going to be a battle between Beth, Saya, and Elise. But things done changed. Things change up real quick when it comes to those main events. So moving on to the rest of the men, we have Cedric Bouty representing Switzerland. He was on the Chase Act 1.2, came in 4th place. Cameron Wood out of the USA was representing on a Mongoose. That's right, the Mongoose title team. I don't have any pictures of his bike built up completely, but you can see the frame and fork set up right here. Got the crazy custom paint job done on this frame and it looks real dope. I love how they added the wood to the rear of the bike to represent Cam Wood, of course. You also have some Star Spangled action happening in the front of the bike. Real dope custom paint job on this frame and fork, and I think this was one of the best custom paint jobs done out of all the bikes that were in the Olympics. And big shout out to Mongoose for having the BMX racing frame in the finals at the Olympics. That's a big deal for Mongoose. They've been around since the beginning of this BMX racing thing, sponsored several amazing riders, left the BMX racing game for a while, came back in 2018 with the title, and now here we are 2024. We have a Mongoose bicycle, the title team BMX race frame, in the main event at the Olympics. So that's a big move for Mongoose. And we got Mateo Carmona from Colombia, came in 6th place, representing on the Chase Act 1.2. Simon Marquardt out of Switzerland came in 7th place. He was aboard a Speedco Vlocks carbon frame. His bike also has a huge chain ring on the front. And finally, we got Isaac Kennedy out of Australia. He came in 8th place. He was riding the Chase Act 1.2. Unfortunately, he crashed during the finals, but he was looking great during the qualifying motos, getting some good laps in. But like I said before, BMX racing, you never know what's going to happen. That's why you're always at the edge of your seat when you watch these races, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's crazy. All right, so that was it. Those are the 16 bikes that made it to the finals at the Olympics. You had 2 Commensals, you had 3 Speedcos, you had 4 Chases that were inside of those finals. 1 Mongoose, which was crazy. So a lot of cool things happened in those finals between the racers and also the bikes that they were on. And I can't wait to 2028. It's coming to Los Angeles. Maybe I'll get a press pass and come out there and represent. Gotta see what happens with that. So 15 BMX was doing some really good coverage of the Olympics. They were putting some stats up, putting some cool pictures up and all of that. And he also broke down the amount of bikes that were being used. So they said 29 carbon bikes and 19 aluminum bikes were competing at the Olympics. There was 1 Race Inc. RA20 in the Olympics. It was ridden by Carlos Ramirez. We also featured that bike on Bike of the Day, actually one for July. There was one Pure, one Mongoose, one Inspire, one DK. There was one Alcavi bike that was used at the event, and that bike was actually just made specifically for Alfredo Campo to race at the Olympics. You got 2 wheel whistles, you got 2 GWs, 2 Daylights, 2 Commensals, 3 Stay Strong BMX frames, 3 S squared. So we have S squared in there, which are the only American made BMX racing frame out of the whole bunch right there. They're the only ones that actually get welded in the States, if I'm not mistaken. You had 3 GTs and 4 Speedcos. 3 of those 4 Speedcos made it into the finals, which is crazy. Then you had 5 chases, and 4 of the 5 chases made it into the finals. 7 prophecies, and you had 9 Meebos. 9 Meebos. They had the most bikes in the Olympics was Meebo, and of course, you know, there was 1 Meebo in the finals for the women. All right, so that is it. Those are the Olympic BMX racing frames. So if you're ever deciding on upgrading your bike or doing something different with your bike, you now know which brands to look out for to take you to the podium. Also, let me know which BMX bikes out of all the finalists were your favorites. Definitely let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know what you think about this episode. I'm going to be bringing more episodes like this in the future. I'll probably have some more BMX Olympic stuff to talk about, so stay tuned for that. And as always, come back, support the site, like, subscribe, the whole 9 yards. Leave some comments on SugarCayne.com. Help this thing grow so I can make more articles, more episodes for you. And that's it, man. Crazy Out Kane, SugarCayne.com, CACTV, and I'm out. Back to you, Billy.